Why therapy failed me for so many years. I distinctly remember one time I was in college, I was in university, I call up the counseling center, I'm like, all right, I've got depression, I'm gonna solve it, here we go. This therapist is gonna cure me, probably in 1 or 2 sessions. I've been depressed for so long, I hate myself, I need some help. I go in, start talking to the therapist, and he tells me, why are you in here? I start telling him my story. And as I'm talking to him, this therapist starts to cry. And I was like, oh man, I must be messed up if this therapist is crying from hearing my story. So I probably got some deeper issues than normally. And I kind of walked away just feeling worse. Now, that is a bad example of therapy. See, I was going in thinking that was going to cure my issue. But I actually, other than that guy, I had 2 other really good therapists that to this day, if I would not have met them, I wouldn't be the same. But the thing is, they were helping me so much, like getting me out of my shell, getting me to talk about what's going on, really kind of saying, hey, TJ, you should probably look at this thought, or why do you think this? And it was all making so much sense, and they're giving me so much support, but I still felt depressed. I still felt depressed at the end of the day. It wasn't until years later that I randomly went into Barnes & Noble and started reading books like Depression Free Naturally and Mood Cure that I was like, hey, maybe depression, I know depression's real because I've been messed up and I've ridden bullet bikes and skydived and all this crazy stuff and still felt depressed. All this therapy. And then I was like, well, maybe something is going on in my brain and my body, and that is what's causing me to be depressed. Because the thing with therapy is all these cognitive behavioral approaches, therapy, all of these things are great and you need to do them, but depression is a state. Depression is a state that you're in. So if you have a vitamin B12 deficiency, all the therapy in the world isn't gonna fix that deficiency. It took me a long time to realize this, but once I started taking vitamins, amino acids, started replenishing the neurotransmitters in my brain, I started eating right, I cut out, I experimented with food allergies, I cut out the pasta, the grains, I cut out sugar completely. And once I took those approaches, once I was taking vitamin D, because my vitamin D test results weren't in line with where they should be, when I was taking magnesium because I was deficient in magnesium, when I started exploring adrenal support because my sex hormone levels, my DHEA levels were showing a history that I had adrenal fatigue, that is when all these other approaches would work. The thing with cognitive thinking, so you have negative thoughts, right? And we're all told that negative thoughts cause you to be depressed. But really, that's only one side of the coin. On the one side of the coin, you have, yes, if you have negative thoughts, they're going to make you depressed. But on the other side of the coin, if you're depressed, you'll have negative thoughts. So both negative thoughts create depression, but depression also creates negative thoughts. It took me so long to realize this, but if you don't feel 100% and you've tried all these things to get yourself healthy and not depressed anymore, there's the other side of the coin. Your negative thoughts are a result of the depression. If you've got these deficiencies, if you've got a messed up thyroid, you're going to feel like crap and you're not going to think good thoughts because you feel like crap. So why would changing those thoughts do anything? It's not going to do anything. Now, I'm not saying just think all the thoughts you want. Again, there's 2 sides of the coin. But if you have these problems, thinking, changing your thoughts, trying all these approaches is not going to work. You need to get yourself in that state of mind where these things can start to work. When therapy finally started to work for me is when I was taking the vitamins, I was getting my body back because my body was trash from constant stress. Some people said I had PTSD. All these factors. I had, I used a bunch of drugs. All that crap was probably messed up, burn out some receptors in my brain. All of this, I needed to repair myself, and I needed to fix these situations. So it wasn't until I had the nutrition in place, I had the vitamins, I was getting the vitamin D, I was taking magnesium at night. That is when I wasn't feeling the anxiety, my depression started to lift, and then I could benefit from therapy. Then it was like, oh, now I can implement these changes, now I can grow as a human being. Because if you're in that depressed state, you're going to be thinking negative thoughts, and a lot of these things aren't going to work because you don't have the energy, you're messed up, you're in the state, you can't do anything about it. Once I started getting those root causes in order, that's when I was able to go into therapy. That's when I was able to take what the therapist was telling me, implement it in my life, and it worked. But it wasn't until I was in the state of mind where those things would work that anything would ever fix my depression. It wasn't until after all those years of depression that I really looked into nutrition and taking care of myself and figuring out if there was hormonal problems and on those physical causes of depression, that I haven't had a serious relapse of depression ever since. That's when, yeah, I still get sadness, but the sadness lasts for a day or two. It doesn't last for 2 months straight. Nutrition, balancing the body and mind, was a foundation upon which all the other methods worked. So if you've tried for so many years to fix your depression by thoughts, by visualizing success, by reading the book The Secret, by doing all these things, or exercising every day, and you still feeling depressed, seriously, go see if you've got a vitamin D deficiency. See if you're metabolizing B vitamins properly. Who knows, you might not be able to metabolize vitamin B6, and therefore you can't create things like serotonin. Go see if your thyroid's healthy, especially if you're depressed and have weight problems. Maybe your thyroid is jacked. Go check, maybe you have adrenal fatigue. Maybe that's why your depression, instead of hating yourself, you just feel numb all the time. You can't get out of bed because you have no energy, and you just feel blank slate. Nothing affects you because your adrenals aren't working right. This week, I want you to go check out, go get some tests done. Go to the doctor, say, I need to get my thyroid, I need to get vitamin D, I got to get these tests done. I want to see if my sex hormones are in balance. I want to see if my digestion's working properly. I'm absorbing the nutrients from the food I'm eating. Because if you're missing out on this aspect of depression, the physical causes, nothing else will work. So again, I encourage you, after 11 years of suffering from severe depression, this was finally the foundation that once I got this in order, that's when all these other treatments and modalities started to work.